Well, I'm gonna talk about the first car I ever had. When I was working for my dad, he would give me $2 or $3 a week, and I'd save it. Of course, they fed me, bought my clothes and paid for my schooling and all that. I helped them on the farm as much as I could, but I that I'm a depression baby. I was born during the Great Depression. When you when you look at motion, when you look at movie, you go to a movie and you see these films and things about how great the Depression was, and you see people standing in line in a soup, getting a bowl of soup, and stuff. That's the era that I grew up in. I was born. I probably said it before, but I'll say it again. I was born about 3 months after the stock market crashed. In '29, and I was born in the first part of January 1930. So by the time I was 5, 6 years old and old enough to remember things, well, I saw the depression type things. I mean, we didn't have no money, but I was lucky enough to be on a farm where we never went hungry. Boy, we had. In fact, I'm old enough to. I mean, I remember people coming by our farm in the horse and wagon, and my dad always had work. If you got a dairy farm will tell you that there's never no end to the work, and people would come by in a horse and wagon. And I remember several of them come by. I remember one in particular where a guy came by and darn, he had 3 kids and had no money, And he was, I don't, when I say he's begging for work, my dad we didn't take it as begging. He actually was begging for work. I saw him do it. And he had 3 kids to feed and didn't have no money. And my dad, he give the kids are pretty big. Some of them, 5, 6, 7 years old. The youngest ones, there's around 12, 13, down to about 6, 7. They could all use a hoe. He give every one of them a hoe, and paid every one of them. Back then it was $1 a day. You wouldn't believe that. I know you folks are gonna think I'm lying, and that's the God's truth. So help me God. $1 a day is all anybody can make on working. But anyway, he paid every one of them, even the kids. He paid them all. I don't know where he got the money, because we didn't have money either. But my folks were Christian people. I mean, you wouldn't think it with the way I talk about him. But I mean, as bad as he was at fighting and cussing, he was a Christian. Anyway, I remember him hiring them. He'd give every one of them. I was standing there when he done it. He'd give about 5 of them. He'd give every one of them a hoe and told them to cut down the bull needles and they had a milkweed that the sour it was a weed that they called it a milkweed, I think. I've lost track of that milkweed name. I think it was a milkweed, a bitterweed. A bitterweed is what they called it. It turned the milk sour. What it did, turned the milk bitter. They call it a bitterweed. And bull nettles. And he told them to cut down all them around the fence, everywhere they could find them. They had a bunch of acres there. He had about 80 acres, had about 40 or 60 rented and whatever, and they could just go all over that farm. And I remember my dad, I think they stayed there a couple of days. I don't know where the devil he got the money. Because I only got $1 a week or two, depending on how much work I could do, But he paid them. My folks were even though my dad was as hard as he was a Christian. When them folks left, he not only gave them enough food to last them a month, he gave them a wagon full of hay to feed their horse. And I remember that. I was old enough to remember that. And anyway, I was going to talk about something else there, but I had to talk about that. I was going to talk about the first car I ever had, and where am I here? Let's see if I got time anymore to to talk about this. Yeah, I could probably talk about it if I try real hard. Anyway, my dad, God, I had to work for several years. And my dad, every time my dad, I never had to spend any money on nothing. Folks took care of it. They bought all my clothes, fed me and everything. And I saved all the money. I saved up $100. God, it took me forever to do it. Holy moly. He didn't give me $1 a day. He gave me $2 or $3 a week. You know. But I saved up $100. And there was a car for sale downtown Dallas. And I went and told my brother, I saved up this 100, and I told my brother, would he ask him if he'd take me down there to see this car. It was an old 33 Ford. It was a Bonnie and Clyde car. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Bonnie and Clyde, when they machine gunned them to death. They were in the 33. It's either a 33 or 34. You can't tell the difference. You'd have to know about the car. The only difference in them was the width of the grill. You know, but mine was a 33. Anyway, I bought it. I give him $100, and I jumped in it. And my brother was smart enough to bring a chain with us. Sure enough, it got about halfway home. Got about halfway home, they quit running. We had to hook the chain up to it, drag it the rest of the way. And God, it was almost a year before I finally got to drive that car, because in order to fix it, I had to buy the parts. You know, I didn't have no money to buy no parts. But anyway, there was a guy named, his last name was Brizentine. He lived down the street from me, about a block down, and about over. We lived on Bertrand. He was on Monty. He lived on Monty, which the street was right off Bertrand. And he was an old mechanic, and he was always drunk. And always greasy, and always laying on his front porch. I don't know when he worked. He was always laying on that front porch. But anyway, it took me about a year about 6 months, 8 months, a year before I finally got my car back together. And I went down there and asked him. He told me everything to do to it, you know. And of course, I had to save up and buy the money and get the part. And I finally got that blasted thing running again. You know? God, I was proud of it. Woo-wee. I just barely had enough money to put gas in it, you know. Anyway, what I was going to tell you, I got it running, and of course I was real proud of that car, and I drove it up and down 2nd Avenue, and of course back then $1 gas was real cheap. Probably, I don't know, God, I may be wrong, but it was less than 25 cents a gallon, you know, somewhere around there. You get $1, you get 40 gallons, you know. You get $2, God, you fill the tank up, you know. But anyway, I'm driving around and went up on 2nd Avenue, and I saw 3 or 4 boys. There was about four guys standing around. They looked like it was about my age. So I stopped and I talked to them, and we was talking. I didn't know. I just met them, and I didn't know them very well, you know. And of course, I've been on the farm. I didn't have a lot of friends, and being an old country boy, well, hell, I wanted to be friends with everybody. So they asked me, said, how about taking us for a ride? And I said, sure. I said, come on. Of course, I wanted to show off my car anyway. God, I was proud of that thing. You'd think I had one of them Mercedes-Benz or something. You know, it's just a darn old 33 Ford. You know? But it was a 4-door, you know. And anyway, they all piled, 3 of them got in the back, 1 of them in the front. And we go driving around. I was over on, I'm trying to think of the name of the street we was on. Lord of mercy, if I hadn't tried to think of it, I'd have thought of it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. One street's as good as another. Anyway, one of the guys said, let's stop and get some drinks. And I said, okay. So I run up and I pulled into a grocery store, and I started to get out, and the guy said, we'll get him. A couple of them got out and said, we'll get him. And I thought to myself, I said, boy, ain't this something? I mean, God, these guys are going to buy me a soda pop. Ain't that great? Lord of mercy, you know, soda pops was probably a nickel a piece, you know, them days. I don't know what they were. God, you're going back years and years now, you know. But anyway, I was sitting there, and I had turned the car off and the lights off, and I was waiting for them. And all of a sudden, oh my God, all of a sudden, they come busting through that door, and each one of them had a had a 6-pack of beer in their hands, you know, and they were hollering, "Go, go, go!" Oh God! I don't know what the hell to think. Oh Lord, have mercy. They jumped in the car and I got it started, and I didn't even turn the lights on. I backed that thing out in the street. I didn't look either way. God smiled on me again because there was no cars coming. And I gunned it, and I didn't turn the lights on. We got about 2 blocks away from that place. And I took them back where I got them over on 2nd Avenue, you know. And I let them out, and I hung around for a little while. I didn't want them to. I don't know, you know, when you get in a situation like that, you know, it's hard to get out of it. And I didn't want. I know this is awful, but I didn't want to let them think that I was a little chicken chi-chi, a little do-gooder, you know. But I didn't drink no beer. I told them I didn't drink beer, you know. The first thing they did was start hooping and hollering and drinking beer, and, you know, and acting tough and all this baloney crap like people like them do, you know. But anyway, I stood there and with them for a while and kind of talked, and they, "Oh, come on, have the beer." And I said, "Oh Lord, no, I got to drive home. I don't want to drink no beer." I don't remember whether I took one and took it home with me or not. But if I did, I probably threw it away. I don't remember because I was nervous as God Almighty. I couldn't believe what I'd gotten into. I mean, you're talking about, oh my God, you're talking about the country bumpkin. The dude that sat on the back of the turnip truck riding into town, I was him. I mean, I wasn't ready for that kind of stuff. I didn't know that people, I could tell you a lot more about them people on 2nd Avenue, you know, but that was one that, Lord have mercy, I mean, I could have wound up in the damn penitentiary, and all I was trying to do was be friends. Dumbass that I was. I was just trying to be friendly with some people. Damn, if I didn't, I come real close, winding up in the penitentiary. You know, I mean, see, think about it for a minute. I'm sitting in front of this store. They're running out of it. If the guy had come out of that store with a gun and stopped us all 4 of them could have run. But it's my car. I can't run. What good would it do me to run? My car's registered in my name. You know? God almighty. But you know, I keep saying, I know you people gonna get tired of hearing this, and I don't give a damn if you do or not, but I'm gonna tell you, God teaches you lessons as you get through life. That taught me a lesson to be damn careful who I call my friends and who I let get in my car. And that had such a profound effect on me. Here I sat, damn near 84 years old, and I ain't got no friends, and that's by God, don't want none. You know, there ain't nobody gonna put me in the damn penitentiary like them boys damn near did, you know. And so you just stay away from me, stay out of my life. I'm doing great, and I'm happy as hell. And you know, you can't trust nobody. I mean, God Almighty, what did I do to deserve that? You know, I was trying to be, they wanted to go for a ride, and I was trying to give them a ride. Damn if they didn't try to put me in the penitentiary. So, boy, I tell you, after that, it was almost impossible for somebody to be my friend, because, you know, they come up and want to talk to me. First thing I'd do is I'd look them up and down and size them up, and I'd think, you know, why don't you get out of my face and leave me alone? I don't need you. You know, I'm doing real fine without knowing you. You know, you know, it's, I don't, you people ain't gonna like me, but I don't care what you do or not. I know I'm just gonna tell you what happened to me as I went through life, and it's been a ride, man. I'm telling you, I've enjoyed every minute of it. Well, there it is. I'm gonna have to quit this one. I'll think of something else to talk about. I'll talk at you later.